building. The exits are towards the front of the building and to the rear of the building. And if you can, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're going to start with a public hearing for proposed local law amending Chapter 199, Article 4 of the Code of the Town of Lewisboro entitled Volunteer Firefighters and Ambulance Workers Exemption. So I'd like to go ahead and motion that we open the public hearing.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. If anyone, now this is just to give a summary, this is basically tax exemption that we're providing to volunteers who live in town but work in any other municipality within the county. They're still entitled with this change to receive an exemption in their town tax.
In a volunteer capacity.
In a volunteer capacity, correct. Correct. So anyone here would like to speak?
Tom Beneventano.
You have to go up to the mic there, Tom, sorry. Yeah.
Thank you.
And introduce yourself, who you're with, and you have 3 minutes.
You got it, but it won't be 3. My name's Tom Beneventano. I'm the attorney for the Goldsbridge Fire District, and I speak on behalf of the Fire District. With me is Steve Mangione, our Public Information Officer. I would like to speak in support of this. I want to thank Andrea Rendo in the first instance. She and I had discussions about this proposal before we brought it to the board. And I sent it to Tony, Rich, and the remainder of the board. I'd like to thank Rich as well. I would like to support this wholeheartedly. I believe it's the right move. And I think it's the appropriate measure so that members of especially mutual aid districts, we're in the midst of having severe shortages in volunteer firefighters. And we have great support from each of the surrounding communities. So this is a very worthwhile measure. Our members in Goldensbridge, South Salem, and elsewhere come from those same other districts, including Bedford, that has this parallel bill. So I support it wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Anyone else? For the public hearing? Oh, how about on Zoom?
No.
No? Okay. So go ahead and motion that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor? Aye. And I'd like to go
2 parts,
two
Yes.
parts.
secret type 2 and motion to adopt that as noticed and published.
Okay, so as under one motion?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and motion that this is a seeker type 2 action. And that we will go ahead and support the amendment to Chapter 199, Article 4 of the Code of Town of Lewisboro entitled Volunteer Firefighters and Ambulance Workers Exemption.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes.
Discussion. You go first.
Happy to support this legislation. Nobody's more important in our community than our first responders. We could not do what we do in this community without our first responders from Goldensbridge, South Salem, and Vista, our firefighters, as well as our LVAC. We have incredible gratitude for what we do, and we're very appreciative and thankful. So I'm honored to support this legislation.
I would like to thank Tom Beneventano and the rest of the Goldensbridge Fire Department support over there that brought it to my attention, to the attention of the rest of the board, that they thought that this was a worthwhile amendment that will benefit not only the Goldensbridge Fire Department, but the South Salem Fire Department, the Vista Fire Department, and Lewisboro Volunteer Ambulance Corps. So thank you very much, and very happy to support.
And I also am grateful for everything that the volunteers and first responders do for us, to keep us safe and to make a difference for our whole community, from Goldensbridge to Vista and every point in between, and the safety that they provide for our other communities that help us out, and then we help them as well. So it's an incredible service.
Great, yeah, I'm glad that we recognize the fact that there's not a real hard order for these things, so. Good.
Yeah, and I'd like to thank the agencies, the first responders, the volunteers, and timing's perfect, especially since tomorrow's National First Responders Day. So thank you all. Okay.
We
So
need to,
To vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
did we get the second part in there about the secret? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so next is public comment number 1.
Thank you.
Would anyone like to speak? Up to the podium, please. Your name, Hamlet, and you have 3 minutes.
Simone O'Connor Vista. I just wanted to thank everyone who came out to support the Garibaldi Society of Lewisboro. Specifically Sue Vale, she was great. She donated all the food. Her staff was fabulous. And although we unfortunately don't get any money from the town board, we were able to raise $3,200, and it's still going up for people that want to donate to give out a scholarship to a John Jay student or many John Jay students. I want to thank Councilwoman Andrea Rendo, who came with Adam Giordana and really went hard for this event. It was a beautiful event. Councilman Richard Sclaren couldn't be there, but he donated as well. So I really appreciate support of part of the board. It was a beautiful event. We had an Italian musician who was fabulous. It was a great day. There's like gardens in the back. I felt like I was in Italy. So thank you. And this is when Lewisboro does come out strong, supporting each other and our students. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak? Name, Hamlet, 3 minutes.
Hi there, my name is Elena Dunn. I live in South Salem. 2 weeks from tomorrow is Veterans Day. And there is a great ceremony event happening here at the townhouse at 11 o'clock. Just want everybody to be aware of that. And personally, I've seen this event grow over the years, which is wonderful. 11 years ago, when my kids were in Scouts, you know, they came over here with Frank Kelly and planted flags. You know, we had a flag retirement ceremony. South Salem Fire Department started making breakfasts for the vets. Doreen Nastasio's Girl Scout troop, you know, started putting together the cookie bags, and we were all delivering those with her. The Lions Club will be grilling hot dogs and hamburgers. I'm happy to be one of those people in the red vest to help them out. And it's really great to see under, I would say, I'd give John Libby a lot of credit for the Veterans Advisory Committee and pulling everything together. And I hope a lot of people come out, and if anybody wants to volunteer or help out or knows a vet and wants to invite them, get in touch with John, if that's okay, John, that I use you as a point person. Veterans Advisory Committee has a link on the town website, and that's kind of the first place to go. But I hope everybody comes out, and I'm looking forward to it.
Anyone else would like to say something about over the Zoom?
No.
No? Okay. Next we have communications. So we have a couple of things. I think we'll start with, let me start with this one. This was an email from Chief Alfano to our county legislator. And it's, the subject is appreciation for the mobile crisis response team's effort in Lewisboro. Dear Legislator Pierce, I wanted to take a moment to express how truly valuable the mobile crisis response team has been for the town of Lewisboro and our police officers. Their partnership has made a meaningful difference in how we respond to mental health related incidents within our community. To date this year, we are averaging around 5 mental health incidents each month. The professionalism, experience, and follow-up provided by the mobile crisis response team in each of these situations has been remarkable. Their presence ensures that individuals in crisis receive the care and resources they need, while also greatly supporting our officers in the field. Their work has not only enhanced the effectiveness of our response, but also strengthened community trust and safety. We are truly fortunate to have such a dedicated and skilled team serving our residents. Thank you for your continued support of this important program. Sincerely, David Alfano. So thank you very much, David, in recognizing the importance of the service provided by Westchester County. Thank you. Next I have, we'll start with the first responders. We have a proclamation.
Proclamation honoring first responders, whereas first responders, including career, volunteer, serve and ensure public safety and render aid to those in need. And whereas first responders risk their lives and safety every day in the performance of their duties to protect the citizens of Lewisboro, whereas the law enforcement officers, firefighters, emergency medical services personnel, search and rescue teams, rescue pilots, divers, emergency management professionals, 911 dispatchers, and members of other organizations in the public safety sector come together and protect and aid the public in the event of an emergency. And whereas at a moment's notice, first responders are quick to respond to dangerous situations that threaten our cities, counties, and state. And whereas the first responders must be ready to provide life-saving services to the people of Lewisboro 24 hours a day, 7 days a week throughout the year. And whereas first responders undergo significant education, specialized training, and personal sacrifice to contribute their excellent and necessary skills to the public. And whereas we recognize the integral role that first responders have in our communities and the benefits we experience thanks to their hard work, commitment, sacrifice, and dedication. Now, therefore, I, Antonio Gonzalez, Supervisor of the Town of Lewisboro, do hereby proclaim October 28, 2025 as First Responders Day in Lewisboro, and I urge all people in our community to join me in this special observance, dated South Salem, New York, on this 27th day of October 2025.
Thank you, Mary. So with that, we have some proclamations here, which I'd like to hand out to the representatives of each agency. I guess I'll start with Lewisboro Police Chief David Alfano.
Don't be shy.
Right. Okay, next, I know we have representatives here, or a representative from Lewisboro Volunteer Ambulance Corps. So David Zuckerman. Thank you. Okay, Goldsbridge Fire Department is in the house. Tom Vitano and Steve Mangino. You're welcome. And then we have South Salem Fire Department's not here. Lando is Vista. Is Vista here? No. Yeah. No, it's okay. They were- Yeah. So thank you all again. So to our first responder agencies, you guys are the best, and yeah, we're a great asset to Lewisboro. So thank you. Okay, so next we have the consent agenda. I'd like to go ahead and motion approval of the consent agenda, which includes the approval of minutes of October 14, 2025. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, so we'll jump to new business. So we have here tonight, actually before our special guests, I just want to acknowledge that our town clerk delivered to the town board the tentative budget for the town of Lewisboro for 2026. And that's a requirement by county law. It needed to be delivered by October 30th. Yes. Okay, next we have a presentation by PKF O'Connor Davies on our town audit. So what I'll do is we have Robert Fenio and Chris Koff, right? So let me just put up the presentation so we can share it. Oh,
Which is, I'm pretty sure the tentative budget is published on the town website, correct?
no, the preliminary.
Do not present this out.
No, that's, yeah, preliminary is.
Might want to say that out loud, just so people don't expect it or not.
Yeah, so let me just make a comment about the tentative budget. So the preliminary budget is the one that'll get posted to the town website and available publicly. The tentative budget will now go under review by the town board. And then once we develop the preliminary, that will get posted by our controller. Okay, so Robert, bear with me a minute. Let me just get this presentation here on the screen.
As far as uncorrected and corrected misstatements, that just means we didn't pass on anything. Any journal entries that we proposed were recorded by management. And again, the finance office is very cooperative. Next slide. So this is a high level look at your general fund. You can see there are 4 columns. The original budget, the first column, is what you folks, the town board, approved back in the winter of 2023. Again, from a high level, $10.8 million in revenues, $10.6 million in expenditures, representing an excess of $212,000. You did budget below the line, if you will, what we call other financing sources and uses for the sale of real property, as well as some transfers to other funds to cover your debt service requirements. And as you can see, you've adopted a balanced budget. Final budget, there were no changes during the year to the final budget, so that mirrors the original budget. Third column is your actual results. And again, you can see if we look at revenues, your actual revenues came in at $12.6 million, $1.8 million better than your final budget. Although on the expenditure side, you did overexpend the budget by $513,000. You take your revenue, subtract your expenses, and factor in your other financing sources and uses. You come down to that net change in fund balance, a little over $1 million. So the town did have revenues that exceeded expenditures by $1 million. You're able to add that to your opening fund balance of $6.5 million. You end the year at $7.5 million. We'll talk about it in 1 minute. Next slide. Again, there's a lot of information in the PowerPoint. I just want to touch upon a few of these. Your revenues came in at $1.8 million better than your final budget. These are all the categories that tie in. Real property taxes, although up about $85,000 compared to last year, fell short of the budget. I guess there's still some taxpayers that owe the town. We have a requirement that you can only recognize certain property taxes within 60 days collected after year end. So that doesn't mean you're not going to get it. It's just the timing of the collections. Your non-property tax distribution from the county, that's your sales tax. You can see your sales tax is up about $100,000 compared to last year, $350,000 better than your final budget. Inspection fees also up over $300,000 compared to last year, $472,000 better than your final budget. You have your parks and recreation charges, although it's up about $50,000 compared to last year, it fell short of the budget by about $112,000. Your earnings on investments, these are just a fancy word for interest earnings. So interest rates remain pretty steady throughout the year. You're able to generate about $50,000 more than last year, but $252,000 better than your final budget. Your fines and forfeited bail, these are your police, your tickets, your police fees, pretty consistent with last year, roughly around $210,000. Mortgage tax is up about $60,000 compared to last year. $70,000 better than your budget. You did receive some state grants that you didn't anticipate, specifically some police grants to the tune of almost $400,000. You did have federal aid. You recognized the balance of the American Rescue Plan Act funding in 2024 to the tune of $371,000. You did sell a piece of property, generated $250,000. You had budgeted just under $180,000 for that. And then just all others are small items, just wanted to tie in. Next slide. Next slide is your expenditure side. Again, these categories, if you start here, general government support, these are your administrative type costs. Those costs are up about $250,000 compared to last year, about $55,000 over budget. We did see some increases in the assessor's line for tax maps and consulting, some planning board attorney fees. In the areas of buildings, more maintenance costs, higher utilities. Police expenditures are up over $300,000 compared to last year, and that's over budgeted by approximately the same amount. Police did hire an additional police officer in 2024. We did see an increase in part-time salaries. We did see some increases in firearms and body cameras, and that was utilized. Some of the public safety grants were utilized to purchase those as well. Your safety inspections down about $30,000 compared to last year. You didn't hire a deputy building inspector. That position remained open, wasn't filled in 2024, resulting in a little decline. Your advanced life support services, again, these are contractual. Services up about $50,000 compared to last year. Transportation consistent with last year. Your parks and recreation programs are up about $265,000. As we noted before, your revenue doesn't fully offset the expenditures for these types of programs. Your home and community, your stormwater, these are storm sewers. We did see some contractual expenses in 2024 that didn't occur in 23 to the tune of about $75,000. You do contribute to the police and fire retirement system and the employee retirement system. Those are based on the actual reported salaries times the rate. The rates are up slightly, and that translated into an increase of about $70,000 compared to 2023. Also, your health insurance saw double-digit increases. That is up about $185,000 compared to last year. So we did see over a 10% increase in those premiums. And then your what we call transfers out to the capital projects fund to pay down. The town did have a short-term bond anticipation note that it converted to a bond, so that reflects some of those pay downs before it was converted. And your debt service, those are to cover your principal and interest on your bonds. Next slide. Next slide is just a graph. The top is your composition of your revenues. You can see that the town's real property taxes make up 30% of its revenues. It's sales tax that comes from the county there, 25% of the revenues. Inspection fees make up about 10%. And your mortgage tax revenue is roughly about 4 or 5%. At the bottom are your expenditures. Your police or your public safety make up about 15% of the expenditure side of the budget. Your culture and recreation programs, roughly about 24% of the budget. Your general government support, which are your administrative costs, roughly another 24% of the budget. And then the related benefits to all those categories, 22% of the budget. So those categories, including the related benefits, make up about 85% of the budget. Then you have some debt service costs, 3% or so, and some planning and zoning costs, 3% or so. So, next slide. So I did say you ended the year with a fund balance of $7.5 million. You did utilize $540,809 to balance the current budget year in the 2025 budget, and thus provide a form of property tax relief. If you hadn't done so, you would have to raise taxes or cut expenses to balance the budget. We like to compare the bottom piece, the $7 million, what we call unassigned fund balance, which is free and clear, to the 2025 adopted budget. And you're roughly a little over 60%. So you have a really healthy fund balance in the general fund. Next slide. So you do operate other funds real quickly. You have a highway fund, brought in about $4.2 million of revenues, had about $4 million of expenditures. You still have $1.1 million in fund balance. That's strictly assigned for highway purposes. You do operate special districts funds for the Oak Ridge Water, the Oak Ridge Sewer, the Wild Oaks Sewer, and the Wild Oaks Lighting Districts. Those roughly have about $187,000 remaining of fund balance. I do want to just point out that the Oak Ridge Sewer has a deficit, and the Oak Ridge Water do have a deficit that I believe is partly going to be taken care of in the subsequent budgets, but they just need to kind of follow up on those going forward. You have an active capital projects fund and $1.6 million for capital purposes, and you have a little over $500,000 in a debt service fund that can be used to pay down debt in future years. Next slide. So I just wanted to point out, you do have $10.5 million in outstanding bonds. We are required to report those payments to maturity at the bottom over the next 5 years, and then in increments of 5 years. As you can see, 2025, your debt service requirements are about $1 million, 26 $1 million, 27. So it's pretty steady. There's no swings. Different for each fund. Roughly, your general fund is about 3.5%. Is your debt service requirement. Highway fund is a little higher, 6%. And then you have the districts that are a little bit higher that make up the balance. But there are no spikes over the next 5 years, which you're dealing with a tax cap. It's a pretty good to have those and not spike up on an annual basis. That's really it. I just want to point out that the town has it's in good financial health. That could be credited to you folks, the town board, the finance department. You haven't exceeded the tax cap, at least over the past 2 or 3 years. Why is all that important? You put together a budget that helps you kind of what are you going to utilize to balance the budget and help out the taxpayers next year. You have a great bond rating, a AA plus, with a stable outlook. So you did go to the bond market in 24. You had a pretty good interest rate compared to other municipalities. So, having these, what we call rainy day type funds will help you, for any reason the state cuts some programs or the federal government doesn't provide or freezes some funds, you have an avenue to go to. So that's really it. There's a couple of pronouncements that will impact the town, one next year and then a couple in 2026. And we will work with the finance department to make sure those are implemented. All right.
I have a question. Thank you for the presentation. Appreciate it. Just looking at the numbers, so we took, I think it was $540,000 from the surplus and applied that for last year. Yeah. So, and one of the things that was a question as we entered into the last fiscal year was how we were going to do revenues in the prior year. I mean, the subsequent years, I can see how operations were. So the report card on that is that, well, expenses went up 300,000 and change, but the net is that the fund balance was increased about $1 million from where it was. So my question is, if we were to do, as we enter the budget process here for this fiscal year, would it be sound practice to utilize approximately the same amount, say 500,000 or so towards
Balancing,
getting towards the cap, now that we have another additional year of experience and seeing how we did. So it seems to me that, and I'm wrong, it's even more fiscally sound to take the same amount in that area to make sure on our way towards making sure we don't exceed the tax cap.
I mean, I can't tell you like what your capital type needs are. You may have infrastructure requirements, but I would say it's not a bad idea to utilize at least that amount to balance the 26 budget.
Well, at that point now we have over $7 million.
Right. That is unassigned that you would use. Correct.
So we have more on that. So we're better than we were a year ago.
You could, and if you anticipate having a surplus in 26, then I would say at a minimum, if the $500,000 could be used, if not more.
No, does it also argue for studying this and finding out where those surpluses are coming from and rebudgeting those items, which would just naturally then, help in the same way as if you were taking it from surplus.
You can re-look at the budget, but obviously, costs continue to escalate. So it's you don't want to overestimate something that may not occur. But,
sure, but I mean, we're $1 million over,
yes,
so there's a little room in there.
Yeah,
And we do have some significant capital expense that, for example, new facilities, new police headquarters. So we have to keep that in mind as well. I think that's where this fund balance would offset any borrowing that we're going to do in the next year or so.
Yeah, and I think there was a talk of utilizing a combination of fund balance and borrowing to make it less. So that's pretty.
In doing that balance, it would make it a little less cumbersome for our fellow taxpayers if we took a sensible, balanced approach.
Correct.
Well, thank you for the
Thank you very much.
Great format. This is
Thank you.
presenting in this way.
So thank you, Robert. Thank you, Chris, for being here tonight. You're welcome to stay if you want, or
We're highly entertaining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you very much. Okay, next we have, I saw John Winter, there he is in the back. We have our highway department. John's going to give a high-level summary overview of his budget. And I think I can put that up here on the screen as well. Hold on a second, John.
So it's a good person to look at.
He's very serious. He's all fancied up tonight.
I know. I feel under dress, all these guys with suits on.
I was giving her $5 million. I'm pretty serious.
Let's see.
Thanks.
Oops.
Gravity works.
Okay, so. The general liability, let me just check with Annie and Annie, we're gonna fill that in, right? We're still waiting on that, okay,
Make that with the general fund portion of liability.
okay.
Or-
Oh, hold on.
You're
Yeah.
estimating that with the general liability funds?
General fund and highway fund
Okay,
and policy, whatever involves.
we haven't gotten that invoice yet. Okay,
No. Yeah.
okay. Just so our friends from home can hear.
Yes,
Is that a calendar year policy period or?
I think it's in the year. So, it goes from May, our insurance policy,
It goes from May to May.
May.
Okay,
Page are you on?
I guess we'll go to the next page after that.
What page
The
did you start
contingent,
on?
oh, so
They started talking about the insurance.
the insurance, the
But
general
you
liability,
From the beginning where you'd like
Yeah,
to
these-
start.
Page-
Yeah,
well, that's the, yeah, it's the salary component, which pending contracts and all that.
Well, I'm asking for a raise for myself. Cheryl, is union, so pending contract. And then A fund, the sign should be on the A line. I'm always gonna be more than willing to put them up. But, you have the control through the people, so I think tonight you're gonna discuss a stop sign, you tell me when to put it up and we're happy to put them up, but being that you have the control over it, that's incorrect to attest, it's a general municipal law A fund. For signs. And then as far as the deputy, my head foreman took on the deputy title when I asked him. In my absence, he can act. If God forbid something ever happened to me, he's willing to take on the responsibility. If I'm not available medically, personally, whatever. And I appreciate him being, able to take on that responsibility, and I brought the, we call it the Bible, the oath office for the superintendent of highways. And in there, it says that not me, but the town board sets the salary for that, so
Mhm.
I'll leave that in your hands.
Okay. We talked about the general liability insurance. Contingency expense. Yeah, that's for,
That,
Any-
while I'm here, I'll just say I utilized, that this year, I did go ahead with that pavement management group. Gentleman I had present a
Right.
while ago.
Mhm.
He, procrastinating actually, saved us some money, knowing it was the end of the year and they don't wanna hammer the roads in the winter and the snow. He offered me, Somers, Southeast, I forget what other town, Carmel, 15% off, so, for once, dragging my feet on something, saved us some money. So you'll see later on, I requested, that's a 2-year contract, so. We paid for it now, but moving forward, I'd like appropriate funding, so I don't have to scramble to find, it's gonna be like 26 every 2 years, so around 13 annually. I don't wanna have to scramble to find the money for that, and so I added a line, you'll see later on, PNG, Pavement Management Group. Lead maintenance mechanics, that's my
Yeah,
two
this-
foremen,
yeah.
that's just their civil service title is lead maintenance mechanic. That's contractual. Haven't been here long enough to get longevity. Equipment, we moved that, you'll see later on. Office expenses stayed the same. Schools and training, I bumped that up a little, I've already taken 8 of the Cornell study classes. I'd like to continue taking them, and if any of my employees wanna take anything, we're very fortunate, Carrie helps us out with PERMA. So a lot of our mandatory safety type classes we don't pay for. But I don't wanna be shorted on education due to funding, so I bumped that up just a little.
Office cleaning stayed the same. CDL license renewal, I bumped up a little due to having more employees and also asking for a couple more. First aid stayed the same. Personal services line, that's all my MEOs, motor equipment operators. I'm asking for one additional. Cheryl and I looked back in the years past payroll. And back in 09, including the foreman and mechanics. I've been saying it was 15, I actually correct myself, there was 16. So I'll make a deal with you, give me back to the 15 and then we'll see how it goes from there. In 2010, there was 14 employees. Somehow down 11 and 12, it went down to 10. And when I took over, it was 11, and I'm fortunate for the 2 laborers you've given me, but I keep them all busy every day, and I'm still looking to do more work and keep everyone safe out there. A lot of the time, 2 guys are flagging all day. And they take turns flagging because it's kind of a boring, tedious job, but it's a very important job. So you gotta think, if I have 2 jobs going on, unless I'm closing the road, I have 4 guys just flagging. If it's a smaller road or we can Soundview Loop, it's just a circle, we just close the road and work, and that frees up 2 guys to go out in the vac truck or a guy mowing or other jobs like that, but all these tasks require people. So then the next line, I asked for 1 MEO above and then 1 more laborer, that would bring me up to 15. And again, I'd like to reiterate, there used to be 16 foremen, mechanics, MEOs. I've added this entry level position, laborer, which is slightly less pay and more of an entry level job. And I vocalized to everyone on the board before I even took this job, I needed a lower level spot on the totem pole, because perfect example, this summer I had 2 awesome summer helpers. And they don't have, well, one actually does have a CDL, so he can climb that ladder when the opportunity presents itself. But I wanted to be able to offer a job to just, someone new, someone interested in this field, who doesn't have an operating experience, doesn't have a CDL. And with that entry level position, I'm now able to do that. So I'm happy that worked out, and I'd like 1 more of each. Overtime, I left the same for now. Seasonal help's the same. Longevity, that's contractual. A couple guys have been here long enough, they'll start getting that come this year. And then the vehicles and equipment, Annie and I work together on a capital line. I'd love to see it. I was standing here before I took this job wondering where Pete's equipment line was, and he started laughing, and I picked up on that right away. Just like people, I need equipment to do this job. I feel I shouldn't be shorting services to the residents. If I need a $100,000 truck, I don't want to short 50 grand in paving, 50 grand in tree work to make that happen. I don't think that's right. We talked to the finance gentleman here earlier, talked about our reserve. If we have too much money in our reserve, we're overtaxing our residents or we're shorting them services. I'm not interested in doing either one. I want to spend every dollar appropriately. I've met with some of you on explaining how to save money, because I wouldn't come here and ask for more if I wasn't showing you I was accurately spending the money already allocated. I don't feel comfortable shorting services to buy a piece of equipment that I need. It's just not a position I'd like to be in. So that capital line will help me. Those 2 trucks I ordered back in February were $280 each. If I need a couple pickups, 1 year I could use that. If I need a bigger piece of equipment, a grader, a street sweeper, 2 years are gonna have to go by where I don't buy anything, or I only spend some of that. And then that can build up to buy those bigger ticket items. I was relieved to hear I had 1.1 million in the reserve. Three comptrollers ago, I was told it was like 950. And from my research, I should have about 20% of my operating budget in there. If I have 1 and I have a $5 million budget, we're right where we should be. But if I need a $300,000 street sweeper to be compliant with MS4 in a year, now we're nowhere near that 20%. The only way I can save money is to short service this, and that's not something a path I wanna go down. So that capital line is important to me. Gas and diesel, we're at the mercy of the economy. Luckily this year, fuel's gone down, so I left that alone. The oily water recovery that left alone. Gravel and sand, I bumped that up last year. We're doing pretty good this year. I hope no one on any dirt roads is listening, but paving Silver Spring and East Street Hill has saved us a lot of money. I laugh, there's only 2 houses out that way that were really affected by that. And I didn't really do it for them. I did it for having to bring that grader all the way out there. It's an hour to get that grader out there, and all that material just goes in that reservoir. Excessive salt, excessive plowing, excessive fuel in the trucks. It was, it was done to save money. Same with that section Old Church Lane. So I left gravel alone. The work clothes I bumped up, that's a direct reflection on the amount of employees, and that's also contractual with them. The OSHA clothing, I bumped up 500. Again, I gotta have vests and high vis jackets and work gloves and whatnot for everyone to keep them safe. The tree work I left alone. The signs and posts, I explained earlier, should be an A fund item. And the hardware maintenance I left alone.
John, with the additional paving that we've done, the gravel usage is going down, right? So is this number coming down with it?
Well, yes and no, maybe one day. I think the direct relationship between the amount of pipe work I do, I backfill a pipe with gravel if it's a permeable pipe, with holes, and that material goes in there. And if not, I'm backfilling pipe with item 4, to get proper compaction, especially because we're always doing things right before summer. I don't want anything settling. So maybe one day,
You're doing more miles now, so that side of things is.
yeah, so I use it for more than just the dirt roads. I use it to backfill and all, compaction and whatnot.
And also with the drains, I don't,
Catch basins.
hatch basins.
Yeah,
That as well.
I can't have something settle right before or after we pave it. So we're not usually putting the dirt we remove because it gets fluffed up when we dig it out. But the item 4 and the gravel have a much better compaction. So road repair and maintenance, that's potholes, fixing imperfections, but every road we cut up to replace pipe, and until I get a plastic pipe everywhere in this town, I'm not gonna overlay a road. My guys were vacuuming the basins in Indian Hills, which you drive through it and it's a nice neighborhood and the roads are paved, but at some point I'm gonna have to cut every single road up and rip all the pipe out. I really wish that had been done prior to paving. But again, it comes down to time and money and equipment and people to do it. And I explained to some of the town board members how much money I spent on 0.3 miles of Brunswick Drive,
$112,000.
117. But
You were off a little bit.
that
Just a
that
little
was
bit.
over 1,000 feet of pipe,
We,
0.3 miles.
yeah, we drove
And
together.
15, 16 catch basins. Replaced all the tops. A couple of basins themselves had to be replaced. It's a lot of work. But that road, well, I shouldn't have to touch it for 10 plus years. Everything under it is fine. So when it comes time to overlay it, we can. People in the neighborhood ask why we stopped. Why didn't we keep paving? I said, because I'm not coming back to cut this road up. You're gonna have to wait till, fix it right the first time. I want to do it once and I want to do it right. So that 200,000, that line, that's, we come cut the road up, rip all the pipe out, and we have to repave what we cut out. A lot of that is that, or if, we have a small cul-de-sac or apron or something, we're gonna pave. That's like the in-house things we do, that's all done by hand and break down and done with a roller. The next line, I asked for 800,000 in paving. This year, we used that 600,000, company who wins our bid, they did that in a couple days. That 600,000, that was going in days. I forget how many tons they do a day, but it's around 113 a ton. It adds up quick. They have 10 trucks running 20 to 22 tons all day long from Bedford to here. So 800,000, we average around 170, $170,000 per mile paved. Obviously, in a neighborhood like Kitchewan or my neighborhood, Lake Atona, narrow roads, we get a little more out of that. Then you got a road like Brundage Drive that's wider, it's gonna be a little less, but the average works out to 170. That would be 4.7 miles a year. That would take 18 years to pave the town. This year, we used that 600,000, I used $256,000 in chips. So spending around 856, we did exactly 5 miles. And that's, I'd like to be doing closer to 6, 7. 7 would put us on a 12-year plan.
John, just to refresh, so we have a total of how many miles?
96 center lane miles and around 10 are dirt. So I always say easy numbers, 7 times 12 is 84.
Just to refresh everybody's memory from prior meetings, the life expectancy for the pavement is estimated to be.
It used to be more, it's like mandated to certain plants now that it's RAP, recycled aggregate product. So millings go back to the plant and it's good that they get put to use, but unfortunately it makes pavement not last quite as long. So I always say, if I do your dead end, I'm gonna get 20, maybe plus years out of it. A road like Main Street here, Elmwood, Todd Road, we might get 10. So if I was aiming for a goal of every 12 years, getting every road paved. We have a lot of dead ends in this town. Ask my guys when they're plowing them.
Yeah.
No one likes the dead ends when you're plowing. And all these dead ends are gonna last, all these little side roads. But if I get every road done in 12 years, then I can do the main roads maybe every 8, every 10, do those side roads every 20.
So the idea is to have enough money for paving that you can get around the whole town in sufficient time that the
If I was
life
doing
expectancy of the roads in the.
That would be the main goal. Like I said, if I did 7 miles a year, I would start back where I started in 12 years.
And with your new pavement management program, we'll have a real good.
The guy was definitely a salesman. He called me nonstop, but I believed him. He said, maybe 10, 12 years from now, you could dial back the paving budget because you're not doing the worst first. You're preserving your investment, which is one of the reasons I'm adamant about I'm not gonna overlay a road with rusty pipes in the ground, and I'm not gonna overlay a cracked road. Those roads I milled, it saves a lot, bringing the height down, that we don't have to do aprons where every driveway meets. Unfortunately, the curbs are rarely in good shape, but if you had curbs in good shape, you leave those in place and you mill it in between them, and then you just pave up to them. More urban environments where you have like a concrete curb, that's basically mandatory, because over the years you lose the curb.
So John, in 2024, if you include chips, you had about 480,000 in paving, and this year you had 900,000.
No,
So
didn't we have more than that?
I'm looking at the actual numbers here, 180 and 303. That's 483.
But you had 180 and borrowed.
We've had the 320 for 25.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
So you actually, so if you include that, it was actually 900 plus 1.2 million total. Does that sound right? Paving? Okay, because you have 300 in chips, 600,000
was in the budget.
was in the budget.
600 was this year.
Correct, yeah. And so in comparison to last year, if you were to say how many roads or miles you paved?
I don't know. One of the last
Okay,
ones that were
that's okay,
already-
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Because that was a significant bump. From 24 to 25, it was.
I'm trying to be a true politician here, but if I paid 10 short dead ends, I did 10 roads.
That's why I said miles.
If I did, just Elmwood, okay, I did 1 road.
But the
Right.
thing is, the roads that what you've done is more than just paving. You do repairs, you do maintenance, you do
Like I
the programs where you take care of the the land near the lakes, the watershed projects. You do a
Paving is, a week goes by, $900,000.
Yeah.
Right, but that's just for paving. That's not the repair work that Mary's
Yeah,
talking about.
that's what
That's
takes
separate.
months, that's what takes the
Yeah,
equipment, that's
yeah.
what takes the time, that's what takes.
So my point is, you did significantly more in 25 than 24, and ideally we want to maintain that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
And, I hope to be standing here in 10 years and dialing it down.
right.
And doing more sealants and, preserving what we have. As opposed to, total overhauls.
Mhm.
That's the game plan.
You did a study of neighboring towns in terms of the sort of per mile
Oh, employees.
dollars that
Yeah.
they're spending too, right?
I didn't get the best, I got total budgets, so like if you wanted to compare. We're at 5 million for 95.7 miles. North Salem only has 42.7, their budget's 3.1. Bedford is 128 miles, their budget's 9.1. Somers is 119, they're 7.7 million. I didn't get the best, this was all things I could look up. I requested what people spend in paving. And like Tony was saying, a lot of people use chips for paving, so people could say, oh, we do $1 million in paving, but how, and also the bigger the town, the more you're gonna get with chips. So that I don't wanna report, cause I don't wanna have apples to oranges results here.
Mhm.
But as far as, budgets like Carmel, double the size of us, 191 miles. They have a $9.8 million budget, double the size, they have double the budget. But the other research I did with that was employees. And other towns I included Putnam County, but for example, Southeast has 106 lane miles and 16 employees. That's 6.6 miles per employee. Putt Valley has a insane amount of employees, if you ask me. 25 employees for 92.8 miles. So any snowstorm, plow event, there's 3.7 miles per employee. Carmel has 35 employees for their 191. There's another good example, Mount Pleasant, 115 center lane miles. And they have 36 employees, that's 3.19 employees per mile. Somers was right behind us, we were at 7.3 miles per employee. Somers was at 7 exact. Bedford was at 5.8 employees or miles per employee. North Salem, I'm not gonna comment on because it's a little inaccurate. They do a couple state roads, so I'll leave them out. But to me, that's public safety when it snows. If everyone's doing 5 or 6 miles, something we can get done, but plowing. Plowing's where you're cleaning up intersections and all those dead ends I mentioned earlier. That's where, the more help, the more help gets the job done quicker. Gets the roads back to clear black pavement and everyone can travel freely. So not only the prep work for paving, but the winter time, I want to get back to where we were. I don't understand how. I know, 08 wasn't a good year financially, but, we need to get back to work back towards those numbers of 15, 16 employees.
Okay. Thanks, John. I guess you want to go on to the next.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Just a quick question on catch basins and pipe, and I know I had asked you this when we spoke the other day, but that's relationable to the number of paving as well.
Underneath the ground, all those basin tops, all the basins themselves.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't want to just overlay a road to, to make people happy. I want to replace everything under that road, and then when I pave it, we don't ever have to come back. So the direct correlation to answer your question.
Right, yep.
Next line.
Yeah, this is contractual for
the two mechanics.
vehicle equipment repair.
Yeah, I left that. We've actually been doing really good on repair this year.
I was gonna say with new vehicles, you should have less repairs, right?
That's the game plan.
He still has equipment from 2002 that working on
2,
And
3,
it
5,
needs
6 and 7 trucks.
to
every
be
snowstorm.
replaced. Yeah,
So we're relying on 20-year-old trucks, every snowstorm, but hopefully sometime next year, those 2 I ordered, come in.
Mhm.
Electricity, honestly, I was gonna leave alone and we were sitting there and realized we're getting close to going over this year. So I just bumped electricity and heating fuel up a little bit.
Okay.
Because the year's not over, we're close to over on those. Contractual is the snow overtime, that I didn't alter.
Mhm.
Outside contractors, that's anytime I gotta hire other people to do things. Salt we cut last year. I was fortunate, you gave me a lot of things I asked for. So when you asked to cut something, I said, all right, I bought those 2 trailers last year with a little bit extra I had in the salt. It was a gamble. I rolled the dice and we're over budget on salt this year. But I was grateful for what you gave me last year and I knew I had to cut something. So I worked with Tony last year and he said, can we cut the salt? Clearly, clearly you had a little.
Part of that was because we had surplus from the year before, but even the surplus is used.
That barn's
Yeah.
full now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta remember when winter starts, it's
Yeah.
29 degrees this morning.
Right.
Winter starts now, we got the salt any day now.
Hmm.
So you can't think, you're starting January 1st with that, every year it blends into the next year. So I need to bring that back. That's where it was. We brought it down. Clearly that didn't work. So I'd like to bring that back to where it was a year ago.
Actually, it was 99,000 in 2024. That was the actual.
I feel like it was at 150. We brought it down to 130 because I'm over. I spent
Yeah, yeah.
about 48
Okay.
already. Yeah, I'm over already. And I'm good. I'm not gonna have to buy salt until January,
Right.
but come January, yeah.
Okay.
All
right.
night chloride, that's for when it gets really cold. Luckily, we haven't used a lot of that. Meal tickets, that's contractual
contractual,
and
yeah.
direct correlation to the number of employees. Plow maintenance I left, and the storm trailer, you might as well call it contractual, that's the rent of
Yep.
that trailer.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, John.
I don't have a question, but voicing support, I spent quite a few hours, more than a couple of hours, going on the road, learning about everything that the department does, and I'm thankful for that master class.
I'm thankful for people taking that time out of their day to see what we do. I
So,
don't wanna just be one person at this podium, I got 13 employees, every day I gotta keep busy. I'm not excluding Cheryl, she usually keeps me busy. You got this many voicemails, this many phone calls,
Yeah.
don't forget about this, so.
you're
I
doing,
got 13 people I keep busy every day, 96 center lane miles, 1,600 something catch basins, and we're. Even though I don't want more things to do, we're trying to keep these lakes and everything clean, so
yeah,
we're having more catch basins. Between trucks and vehicles, 30 something. Vehicles, 10+ pieces of equipment, trailers, there's a lot to keep busy. Glad to show it to people who are interested.
yeah, I am, thank you.
All right,
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you, John.
Okay. Okay, next we have a resolution to approve. Well, this is a discussion on vending machines at the town park. So this is a company called Boom and Bites, and Nicole is here. She can answer any questions, but basically it's the installation of vending machines at several of our parks.
And it's boom and
Is
bites.
that what I said?
It sounded like boom and bites to me.
Bites.
Town resident Yuri Buzas should be on Zoom. Came to me proposing vending machines in the parks. And I sat down and discussed with her and asked her, 1 park, 2, all 3. She frequents town park. She said that she would do whatever we would like. So I had asked her to put a proposal together. We brought it to crack at the beginning of the month. And they just started asking questions. So she is looking to cover the cost of the machines, drop off, pick up stock. And then said that we would receive profit. And that Prac had asked if we would also receive a flat fee each month. And when I gave her a contract agreement to look at and kind of get ideas, she agreed to do a $110 flat fee per month, and then we receive percentage.
Yeah, it's 10%.
Yeah.
And the
Got it.
projected profit for all three parks is $552.15 is.
This is the
Yeah.
an example of items that she would potentially put in. Again, Brack had suggested that we roll out just Town Park because we see higher usage at Town Park through the winter, get through, few months and really then look at Fox Valley and Ontario for the spring.
My only question is, do we need to look at signing an RFP? I mean, these are very limited companies that do this to begin with, and the cost is none. Really,
You can waive your procurement policy as you see fit, and there's not a large number of vendors that provide the service.
Electricity component for this, right?
There will be, but
So at the town park. So I'm just wondering, because with Lily's, that's at the town pool, so I just don't want something to adversely impact Lily's and their concession.
and well, Lily's is
but
only
Lily's
for
is only
certain
seasonal.
hours and
right.
certain hours while the pool is open. So,
And Lily's doesn't sell hand sanitizer, baby wipes, or first aid kits, as far as I recall.
No, I missed. Right, but
So this is something that Prac was okay with, and you want to proceed with this, Nicole?
Correct. I
Okay.
had started looking into vending machine companies a couple years ago and had no luck. I met with one and then I got, a lot of pushback because they're not covered. They may be weathered and not in the shade. And so there were just concerns with that. Yuri tells me that there won't be any issues and she will constantly check on them, make sure that they're not vandalized, making sure that they're stocked. Those vending machines at Town Park were outside of the pavilion. We no longer have that electrical outlet there, so we would have to install one. Or we could put it on the interior. There is kind of an indentation on that other side. But I think that we could only fit one because I don't want to block the breaker box there.
That would be not a good thing to block.
so is anybody concerned about any adverse impact on like crossover businesses in town park?
no,
No.
No,
And there's no term. I didn't see that in the paperwork.
Correct. So when I gave Yuri a contract that we've used previously, she had put in for 5 years. When I brought this back to Prac, they had suggested at most 3 years with a 1-year mutual opt-out, or we could even just do a 1 year and then progress to 3 or 5 to see how that goes. So I did not share that contract because I still had to make changes and discuss with that.
Okay. And it doesn't change the revenue share piece regardless of the term. Right,
As far as I know, no.
okay.
So what's the projected total revenue for between the 110 a month you said, right?
And then 10% of all net profit, which she will share with us on the first of the month.
How do we get that information?
She's going to keep a spreadsheet and share with us.
she can't give it projected.
I don't know, but I mean actual.
There won't be cash, it'll all be cards, so they'll automatically have.
So the machine will collect the data.
That's what I'm getting.
So your recommendation is start with the town park only first, okay.
and
Especially at this time of the year, we're looking to definitely start this.
Okay,
Town park is.
so So I'd like to go ahead and motion that we
Well,
approve.
Just ask one more question. Would you prefer 1 year or are you comfortable with 3 years?
I say 1 year.
Is there, with the electricity, is there any cover as far as machines, as far as weather elements?
It depends,
On where we put the extra outlet.
Yeah, 'cause if you
Right,
have a-
we put
if you
the
have a
outlets-
Machine in February, it's, it's
And
outside.
she's responsible for the repairs and all of that.
correct.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'll motion that we move forward with the 1 year agreement with Boom and Bites for the installation of the vending machine to start at one park, Town Park.
Yes.
Second,
Discussion, we already had
Is
this.
there
Any other discussion?
Yeah, is there anything as far as, our timing as far as with the agreement, cancellation or anything like that? No.
We can
Nicole said
put that
she's not
language
going
in.
with the contract, so the contract will go to council for review. And she's talking about a possible 1 year mutual.
Well, if we do
No.
a 1 year contract, we can, lessen
Right.
6 month mutual.
No, I mean, it's
Yeah.
like a 60 days if there's any kind of issue mutual that.
You put that in, I think what you're talking about now is just the terms of what they're providing and the profit sharing.
Right, and once we get the contract
Right.
that we're gonna execute, then we could put that back on the agenda for approval.
Or you can. approve it in
Or I
general.
could just approve it, sure, yeah.
Like this and-
All right, okay. Big process, sorry.
Okay,
So just subject to our attorney approving the contract.
sure.
Okay, do I have a second?
yes, you did.
Discussion? No, that was discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Nicole. All right, next we have resolution approving the signing of the Stop DWI Patrol Data Master Project intermunicipal agreement with Westchester County for 2026 to 2030. This is, and the chief is here, but this is for DWI.
It's grant money,
Yeah, it's grant money. That's right. So there's no cost to the town.
no cost to the town.
Right,
They give us approximately $8600
Yep.
a year to grant,
right.
sorry,
Okay.
stop the WI checks.
So move.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Next is another intermunicipal agreement with Westchester County for the use of their firing range for 2025 to 2030.
So move.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Next is discussion regarding the stop sign on Mead Street South at Long Pond Road, and potentially setting a public hearing to amend chapter 212, article 25, schedule 4 of the code of the town of Lewisboro entitled Stop Intersection. So there's been several exchanges and a lot of feedback on this for several years. And I think we're at the point now where I consulted with the highway superintendent and the chief, and we're all in agreement that there should be a stop sign at that intersection.
Motion to set the public hearing.
Second.
Discussion,
It should be. It's going to be, we give the.
November 10th?
What?
Well, ask Janet, she's aware of the timing.
November 10th, and we have November 24th.
Just for that, just to get an idea.
24?
Yeah.
Because I haven't drafted legislation. It should be pretty straightforward.
Okay.
But
Right.
Unless it's exigent, you should give it enough time so we don't have to.
Yeah,
go
As revised per council's suggestion, motion to set the public hearing to November 24th.
Second. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next is approval of Chief Alfano's contract for July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2030. I'd like to go ahead and motion that we approve the chief's contract for that term, 3
Second,
years. Discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just want to thank the chief for meeting with myself and Councilperson Rendo to have good faith discussions as far as the chief's agreement. And it's a 5-year agreement. We appreciate chief's commitment at the head of LPT and community policing. And one of the things that I was very heartened to hear that the chief was committed to a long-term relationship with our community, raising his family here. So I'm very happy to support the adoption of this 5-year contract for the chief.
I did owe everything that Rich had said.
I also am grateful that they came to a successful agreement. I'm also grateful for all the work that Chief Alfano has done with his team for our community and promoting community policing. And he really cares about everyone and making sure that they're safe. So it's really a wonderful thing that he's making a long-term commitment to keeping Lewisboro safe.
Just want to highlight one thing that the deputy supervisor talked about. There's a reference in the contract. The chief is literally available 24/7. There's not a time that any of us have reached out to him.
Or that he has reached out to us.
Or that
Exactly.
that he is really always available. And that's something that needs to be said and show how valued and appreciated we are, all of us for that. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, Chief. Yeah, glad we were able to finally get this together. Roll call. Ready? Andrew?
Aye.
Aye.
Mary Shaw, aye.
Dan Welsh, aye.
Okay, great. Thanks again, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have resolution approving replacement of the Wild Oak Sewer Fairmount Pump Station lid. I sent information to the board. It's a no-brainer. We need to do this. And
Yeah.
we had 3 quotes. I provided pictures, and $7,200 was the least expensive quote. And this is basically a transfer pump station for the sewer side that is not safe and needs to be replaced, and they need to put a concrete base around it and a hatch, new hatch. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We don't need to roll call that since it's.
It's under the amount.
$7,200. We need to roll call. Greg, we should.
Roll call expenditure.
Aye.
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 Mary Shaw, aye.
Dan Welsh, aye.
Okay. Next one is for Oak Ridge. And that's the water plant influent piping improvement. So, and I forwarded to the board. I think I did, maybe I didn't.
Yeah.
I did, right? Explanation about this. So there's it's a total cost of $32,446, and they're gonna properly redesign how the influent, which is the water that comes from the wells into the plant, how that piping is laid out. We had an issue back in June, and with the way those pipes are laid out, it was very difficult to get it repaired. And this also ties into the work we're doing at the plant now. So there's a $100,000 contingency line in the contract with the general contractor. And we have enough money in that contingency line to cover this cost.
So influent, which is a good crossword puzzle word, sounds like, but
It's the water,
it's
the water coming in
okay, like
from the
From the
wells,
okay.
the supply, right?
It's flowing in.
Influent. And
That's change order one.
that's change order,
Number 1. K is the change order number 2.
Contract for the.
contract 1G, right? So motion to approve change order number 1 for contract 1G.
Of the influence piping.
Right, and not to exceed. Or
32,446 and 40 cents. Discussion. All in favor?
Roll call.
Oh, sorry, roll call.
Tony made
I
the,
made the motion.
and Dan seconded.
Aye.
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 Mary Shaw, aye.
Dan Welsh, aye.
Now for the ventilation.
Yeah, next is also for Oak Ridge, and this is for a ventilation system that we're putting in. So we're doing work. There's the new work, the new plant expansion, which has a ventilation system. And the ventilation fan that was installed, kind of ugly. We're going to move it to the back where we needed another ventilation system on the sewer side to improve the environment inside the, there's a lot of humidity on the sewer plant side, and which tends to corroding
It's
the mess. Not that part doesn't smell as bad. That's, huh?
It affects the building.
Yeah, it affects the building, right?
Structurally.
The part that really smells is the other part of the
The other
wood,
part.
where the waste comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this is, yeah, it's basically taking that vent that they installed in front that's visible from Oak Ridge Drive, moving it to the rear where there's currently a louvered system. I think it's just a louvered. And then putting a more attractive, if you will, fan.
Aesthetically pleasing.
Aesthetically pleasing vent with exhaust fan on the road facing side.
So for those of us who are not engineers, it's like a big bathroom fan, but more
Correct.
aesthetically pleasing, but
Correct. Now-
conceptually, that's what it does.
Yeah,
We'll
so
do the job.
I did have one resident reach out as a result of seeing this in the agenda packet. And he asked about moving that fan to the roof of the building so it blows upward rather than out to the back. So I've discussed that with the engineering firm. They'll have to get a quote. It's more expensive to move it to the roof. But we want to at least get the process going to get the order placed, to get the parts in. We don't think, and the engineer doesn't think there'll be any odor. But putting it on the roof is, it's more costly and typically they don't do that.
There's no noise issues, replicable replacement or anything like that, is there?
No. That was also another concern by the same resident, that there'd be a noise issue, but I'll confirm that there is no noise issue with this fan, so. So I'd like to go ahead and motion that we move forward with the Oak Ridge Water District plant ventilation system as designed.
Change order number 2.
This is two, correct? This is the second, it's through a water treatment plant, right? But it's Mace, right? TAM is our GC for the.
Yeah.
Grade.
Well, this is a combination, this is,
Delaware's doing the design, right? But
so it's TAM is the,
GC and they're their sub. Mace is the sub for that work, with that work.
hold on a second. I don't know if this is considered a change order because the original fan, the moving it, so the sewer side is not part of the original project. But because there's contingency, we can use that budget money.
I mean, in the piece here, that I just said it's gonna use PFAS money. Which,
Oh, I did put that there as another option. There was PFAS money, but it's right now from what I was told by the engineering firm, there's enough in the contingency line for the project.
You can just move to accept the proposal at the cost not to exceed 26.4.
Yeah, I'd rather do that rather than commit to it as a change order at this point.
Okay, so we're moving to
Accept a proposal of Mace Contracting Corp. For the removal and installation of a
ventilation system.
the cost not to exceed 2648.41.
So moved.
That's good to think. Okay, discussion, all in favor? Roll call.
Aye.
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 Mary Shaw, aye.
and little shots.
Takes care of that. I just want to confirm, that was Mace, right, Greg?
Mace was the,
I'm just looking at the packet.
it's the last page and the last 2 pages of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm scrolling through now. Just want to verify that.
Actually, 3.
Ah, here it is, yeah.
We'll see.
So it's, and that to that. Quote was. Yeah, there. Mace Contracting, that's right, yep, okay. Now, Mace is the, hold on,
I'm assuming that the HVAC sub, that is a Wix contract because of the size of it.
right,
The HVAC, electrical, and plumbing all have to be bid separately. And that's the HVAC. Responsibility that's with outlined in the service of that contract.
right,
So either way, you're authorizing Mace to do it. That's
Okay.
good enough. For the purposes of the board's authorization.
right. 6, okay. The cost was, okay. So we're good then,
Not to exceed
not to
20
exceed 30. Yeah, 26.
or
That
80.
number is 480.
1.
Correct. 26,480.41, not to exceed. Okay. As moved by, so we're good.
You sure?
I think so.
Resolution
So
to.
next we have resolutions for awarding the bid for removal of refuse and recycling from town offices and facilities to city carting and recycling.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor? Aye, okay. All right, so next we have the second public comment. Anyone else, anyone here would like to say anything? Nope. New business only. Anybody on Zoom?
No one.
No. Okay. Okay, so I'll go ahead and motion approval of claims.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Polling of the board. I'll start with Mary.
I had a wonderful time with the other volunteers for the library fair. Discussion of the library fair and its income. It was a successful community event and the biggest fundraiser of the year, so I'm really happy that it went well. I've also received and I visited with the Goldensbridge Fire Department during their community day, and that was a lovely event. And I'm glad that I was able to enjoy it with my fellow Lewisboro citizens. I've received input from some seniors about their concern about the loss of SNAP funding for their food supplies. So I'm going to be trying to figure out how we can work with the seniors services as well as the local food bank to make sure that nobody in Lewisboro goes hungry. So please reach out if you want to help with this.
Okay. Dan?
I'm glad you mentioned the SNAP situation there. You have folks here that could be affected, so for breaking it up and helping organize that. Just happy that we got our report on Richfield Avenue. We need to figure out, you know, how to move that ahead. And I think in the near future we want to organize some sort of kind of final community meeting, or I was just wondering if maybe some sort of postcard or survey to go out to all the folks on the road, because it's a pretty major decision that we're looking at there, and we want to make sure we're getting all the inputs. So we'll continue to push on that. That's it.
Okay, Andrew.
Last weekend, I had the pleasure of attending the Goldensbridge Fire Department's Community Day. It was great. I got there just in time to watch the burning, which is everybody's favorite part. Parking lot was packed with kids. They loved it. So that's always a fun and a big draw, as well as the town Parks and Rec threw a lovely Halloween event at the town park. So the kids were involved in crafts as well as the parents. So that was a lot of fun. The Garibaldi event on Sunday was a lot of fun and very filling. And I think it's going to be great to see those kids who are graduating this year get another scholarship. And congratulations to the people who ran that event, Simone. Very nice job. Veterans Day is coming up, but also Halloween is Friday. So it's a Friday night. So everyone beware, it's going to be even more busy than usual. It is not a school night. So your teenagers will be out and about. So everyone have fun and be safe.
Okay, Rich.
Excellent. Yes, I was in attendance at the Goldensbridge Fire Department, the community day. If I recall correctly, over 550 people were in attendance. So really awesome event. Seems to get bigger and better each year. Congratulations on Garibaldi and $3,200. That's really awesome. And John Jay High School students apply for the scholarship. Actually, it's a good opportunity. Make sure you apply for it. As Elena mentioned, Veterans Day coming up. If you're you want to remember, it's all 11s, 11, 11 at 11. So I'll do my best to be there as I have in the past. And just I want to again thank our auditors for their presentation, very coherent and clear. Reminds me of even for some who only took accounting for lawyers in most of the one class, those people follow it. Because as we go into budget season, just my budgetary priorities, the town council person, are going to be to ensure that we have an adequately funded highway department and an adequately funded police department. Those are the two of the departments that touch 100% of the people in this community and benefit 100% of the people. And I think about what government's supposed to do. They talk about health, safety, and welfare. So it's talking about our community safety, and that's got to be a priority. It's not fun. It's not necessarily excited. Or maybe going around in a highway or police vehicle might be, depending on the day. But that's my priority on behalf of the community as we enter into the budget season. Thank you, Tony, for delivering the preliminary
Tentative.
Sorry, you always use the wrong term. Tentative. And so we have that review, and it looks like we're in a good shape at this point in time in the process. Thank you.
I do have one more thing.
Okay. Go ahead.
Just in case, some of you may or may not know, South Salem Winery had soft opening last week. And, I went to Gossett's this weekend to go to the farmer's market and had the pleasure of going inside and seeing the beautiful work that they did inside. And they have cappuccino and espresso and pastries, but then they had all the wine tasting set up, and there were a number of residents there already, and I've heard nothing but good things. So if you haven't had a chance to stop by, even though South Salem Winery's been around for a while, this is really an uptick. So if you haven't had a chance to go, you should go and check it out.
And they're open every day.
No, I think Thursday through Sunday.
Thursday through Sunday till 7 p.m. Not that I don't know about the South Salem Winery at all.
Did you want to add something?
So I want you to remember that the Vista Fire Department is having Halloween on Halloween for the kids. I believe it starts at 6:30. I'm not 100% sure. Please check their Facebook page. It's a wonderful time. So echoing what Councilmember Rendo said, please be mindful of everyone on the road and be safe.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say something about South Salem Winery. So I do like wine, and the fact that they're making wine there is terrific. They actually have a fermentation area, so they're fermenting the wine, and I got a tour of it, so which is pretty cool. So lots of luck to South Salem Winery and Gossett for the beautiful facility that they have. Let's see, the budget, that's a big thing. We're working hard on it. Annie and I have spent a lot of time already with our department heads, and we're going to spend even more time. And now the board gets to see the tentative budget, and we'll have some further discussions and have a work session next week. But the priority for me is, of course, the employees. Number one, all the employees in town. We couldn't run this town without them. So all the departments, they're critical to the operations of this town. So we want to make sure that they're well taken care of. And then, of course, all the other stuff that goes into the budget. So that's a work session that's scheduled for next Monday. And speaking of employees, so we have our latest employee to our maintenance department is Zach Jackson. And there was a nice note here from Janet, our town clerk, where she had received a call from someone from Clark Funeral Home in Katona, who wanted to bring to our attention about the new guy, Zach, that he has been very accommodating, professional, and patient during the recent burials at our South Salem Cemetery. So thank you very much, Zach Jackson, for the work that you do and being part of the amazing maintenance team. So thank you. So announcements. We have one more thing. Andrew just reminded me. Election day. Don't forget to vote. But I'll say this again November 3rd during the work session.
And
Um,
gently, sir, check the Board of Board of Elections for the early voting hours and locations. You can vote until 2 days before. And of course, you can go traditionally on the first Tuesday of November.
Okay, so get out and vote. So in addition to the work session on November 3rd at 7:30 here at the Townhouse, we have a town board meeting on Monday, November 10th, also at 7:30 here at the Townhouse. So now I will go ahead and motion that we go into executive session for personnel item, 2 personnel items.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming out.